So, you guys have decided on your retcon, it never happened?
We rescued Thotiana.
Yeah, you poofed in and got her, so everybody, all of our friends are back at Tommendale, and the three of you have decided to do what today? Perhaps you bamfed, got Thotiana, and since nobody used any spells and we did anything, same day, perhaps, you guys decide to actually explore the glowing goblet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good
That's a better idea.
Yeah, I mean, we can check that out. I was going to suggest that, perhaps in-game we fucking wait a minute at Tommendale and, like, prep this fort a bit better and maybe have some clear direction on what we want to do with that. But,
Do you have any personal idea about what the chalice is, or what you can...
I mean, I've never examined it in character. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I don't really... I'm not super aware of anything happening with it.
Okay.
What, my glowing one?
Yeah.
You were indifferent because it was waking up some kind of thing, and you don't really understand what waking up meant. You just know what rebirth was in your own.
I wasn't sure if that was part of the retcon or not.
Nobody
or
talked to
when
me
that
about
even
it.
had happened.
Because
So-
we were in Tommendale when it.
Yeah,
when
so-
we were looking at
yeah,
it.
It
so
wasn't
you-
Tommendale.
Yeah, you cast Identify on it, and
I know.
because it's a level 1 spell, but you rolled really high, you gathered it was like some sort of mixture of arcane and divine magic, and it was possibly even elemental, and because you don't understand the emotion or context of awakening, because you like were after you were not, and like you became self-aware like immediately, you didn't like grow into consciousness, you feel like it's an on switch or like a blinking light, like it's on now.
Which is why I think going and searching or figuring out what was happening with that was a good idea.
Did we have any direction with that?
No. Not to my knowledge.
No direction. You guys essentially went from that to, well, we should go get Thotiana.
Yeah.
So
wasn't really,
there was like, so there's some sort of faint glow coming off of the chalice.
So like all the lights are kind of like lit up and kind of pulsing, getting brighter. Like you noticed a flashing light like in her bag.
Can I
with
test
your
something?
with your autism check.
Yeah.
I'd like to test something with it. If I hold it up in the sky and turn it in like different directions, does it like get brighter maybe?
It gets brighter when you put it in the sun. But if you want to roll like
You know what I mean though?
like if you want to roll a check on that
Hang
and
on.
see like
I'm going to cast guidance on you.
Oh.
okay.
So I
That's
put my
idea.
hand on your shoulder as you make this check, and you get a D4 added to your ability check.
Which one's D4 again?
That's right.
I
Plus your ability check, which
didn't roll. 20?
was plus 3.
Okay, so that's 23, and then whichever is
It was
better,
fate.
perception or investigation on this, because like your attention is focused on it. I'm gonna give you the better
Perception or what?
I'm
Intelligence?
pretty impressed with what
perception
she just
or
did there.
investigation.
Investigation.
Not entirely sure what happened.
They're both the same.
I don't know, she
Same.
rolled a net 20 though.
So add that if you have it.
No. It's
Okay,
23.
23 though, very good. So you notice actually when you take it out of the sun and kind of like spin in a circle, so like you go somewhere where there's like shade and you spin in a circle, that whichever eyes are facing west kind of light up a little bit more. So like you can actually spin it in your hand and you can watch the stones like flare a little bit brighter as they point. From your check, due west, almost.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna look at Tara and tell him that the eyes seem to light up whenever we head west, or whenever it's held west.
Oh. Well, what do you think it is? Is it a key?
Well, Giron said it was waking something up. We can technically walk a little west and see what may or may not happen. If it gets too much, we leave.
West would be towards the sea. Pull out my map.
Towards the mountains.
Oh, you have
Okay.
one too? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
west
he's a
would be
cartographer.
towards the mountains. Forest town here, just northwest of Southampton.
We should tell Giron so he thinks. Or we make a decision.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Giron
You can
and
slap this
relay
on the
the same
table,
thing.
right?
Yeah. So I relay the same information to Giron.
That seems like something that you should not be toying with. Perhaps bury it?
I might need the truth about my ancestors, so no.
How do you know that this will give you truth about your predecessors?
It has dragons on it, I'm willing to follow it.
That seems blind.
That's okay. I make brash decisions without thinking consequences.
At least you know.
We have a plot here. Do we throw it in the trash?
We adventure. Take an actual fun step out of this fucking bullshit. And do a side quest? Yes.
Side quest, main storyline,
You know.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever our main storyline is now.
Isn't the main story about killing tavern keeps?
No.
Here and there.
And unnamed gnomes over the cool kids corner in the bar.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
We'll never
That
know
was not
anything
me.
about the gnome homeland or anything.
Yeah, we will.
You can never go back.
One of our party
Stop.
members is a gnome.
Yeah.
Never go back home.
Oh, dear.
Gnome.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you think we should do? You're the other person in charge.
Well, Garon seems to want to fix up the fort before we head out again, so maybe we should take a rest and do some work around here, and then
Like, we can kind of role play out like a week if you guys want to do some rolls on like some checks on fortifications, like just some vagary, but like with some definite, strategic in-game benefits. But we can do some vague kind of rolls and some role playing. We can fix the fort up and make fort kick ass.
I mean, I
For,
can turn into
for
an
the
earth
sole
elemental
reason
and
of like
build a fucking moat.
for the past like 8 days, the party has been like walking and then in a cart and then in a boat and then killing pirates and then doing espionage and murdering people and teleporting this way and that way and running to the woods, and now you're back home.
Was that in character?
Yeah.
No, that was out of character.
Okay. So, what does Garon want to do?
I think that you should fix up these fortifications here, such as over here, where the wall is leaning into the interior courtyard, making it an easy point of access, as well as this pile of rubble, which could be formed into a wall.
Going to use 2 checks of beast form and turn into an earth elemental for like the next 6 days. I'm going to take a moat, I'm going to fix the walls, I'm going to move all the rubble, I'm going to stack some rocks, fortify the wall.
Okay. So do you guys want to do like a group
Build a
roll?
trench.
Everybody rolls a d20 for like let's say 3 days of work, and I'll take an actual mathematical average, and we'll see how well you all do.
You had a 20 again?
Okay.
Well, you're not joking.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I believe you.
Yep. Typical. Yeah, I got a 3.
It's just straight roll.
Oh,
Straight roll.
do we get a bonus to it?
Whatever your
Like strength.
well, like for your elemental form, I'll even give you like advantage because you're gonna be like doing a strength check for digging a moat.
Okay.
And it's gonna take you like 3 days of beast form to dig like the moat, but perhaps you'll have like guidance, etc. from Giron, who will also have a side project. Because like we're talking a moat around like a fucking fort. Like this was pretty well fortified already at one point, which is why the Empire wanted to garrison it.
Okay.
Like this is a large area. It has a big courtyard. It has, you know, three full buildings and like
Nice.
Tar's badass cooking lean-to, which is like a big ass roof with a smokestack coming out of the center.
So I think I'm going to take my time just fucking hammering out like hinges and door latches, maybe a portcullis, like.
So we're talking like big ass iron bars for like the front gate, because like you can turn out ironwork actually pretty quick. Like in IRL, 8 hours of ironwork could be like $9 million worth of, you know,
plus, like,
fences.
if this 9 was my craft check, then that means that was 22.
Yeah. So and you're gonna do 3 checks for like 3 days worth of work.
Okay.
First day for me, not so solid. Got an 8.
Did you do that at like advantage? You're digging a hole and you're an elemental digging a moat.
Then yeah, probably still 8 because the second roll was not doing better.
Okay.
We're gonna get rid of that goblin die.
So that's a 8 total for your first day.
I would say like
that's on the
look
advantage.
at the stats for Earth Elemental because I'm pretty sure they can just like move shit like that. At
Yeah,
will.
that's what I'm saying. It's like this is like your
Okay,
your
I can
crafting
both
and elemental
non-magical,
digging holes.
unworked earth and stone. In doing so, I don't disturb the material it moves through.
Yeah.
I got a 22.
So in theory,
a
you could
23,
perfectly
and a
shape your
27.
moat.
Okay.
Like you could leave rocks strategically as spikes at the bottom of it and leave it empty. You could literally do as you please there. Gear on your second day's roll for.
I got a 22, a 27, and then a 23.
27, 23. Okay.
18.
So yeah, all of your ironwork, like pretty much all the doors, like any gates, portcullises, anything that you want to put iron bars on, windows, etc. Essentially, the fort is fortified.
Yeah, that was.
So you've got iron bars on like the gates and windows and doors and anything you want iron bars on.
Yeah.
Any other things you want to include in that sort of fortification? Because that's pretty stellar rolls.
Yeah. So.
So essentially, the AC for everything, including your windows, went up like 2.
Included in that, I'll be making locks and keys for doors.
Okay, so like if you guys say the door is locked, it had a lock on it, it's locked. So like, oh, I have this thing, it's a trapdoor under my bed in the barracks or in this particular building, and there's a trapdoor there, and I lock it from the inside. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
One roll for that. This is like your bonus roll because your other rolls were so good. And add all your modifiers.
Yeah. No, that's 28.
28. Okay, so that's gonna be the DC for all your locks that you made. If you're okay with that.
That's solid.
Okay. And Roslyn, what did you want to do? And what's your second and/or third rolls for your crafting?
My second roll was an 18.
18.
Plus the modifier you said?
Yeah, like do you have like a tools proficiency, or like if you're doing like physical labor, what are you doing, and what's your stat that makes that better?
So I was gonna start like building little like a little area for armory type thing in the outside, so they can actually like train in a better area.
Okay, so like you're gonna build like a training area.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps like a wrestling pit and like some training dummies and some punching bags, and have Giron craft you some weights or something like that.
That was essentially what I was going for.
Okay, cool. All right.
And maybe on your end you mobilize some of the recruits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like get them actually physically training while helping out. Like, you know, somebody's pumping the billows for Giron, like all those advantages that, you know, his roles were awesome because everybody's chipping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's
And 'cause they
using
get
everyone
double
to his
proficiency
advantage.
on
Yeah.
And
on
because
the
it's
crafting.
mainly lifting and
Well, it's because
resisting,
you know to yeah. So like
so that'd be
strength.
strength.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So it would be 23, 24, 25, 27.
Okay, in 27. All right, so yeah, you build. It's a little rough because you're not a crafts person.
Yeah.
But you build like usable like archery targets and like training dummies for like swinging swords and crap on, and you're working with hardwoods and you're making rough cut figures. You also built like a gym and a rack for all the weights, and there's like you had some of the soldiers help you, and like you dug a pit and filled it with sand. So you got like a wrestling pit or a sparring area. And like some weapon racks and places for people to like store and take care of their armor. Perhaps even, you guys clearly built a forge.
You said I could do a third day as well.
A third, yeah, so 3 rolls.
So this would also be another strength, but it would be to build like a little farming area.
Okay, so
Just
you dug a
building
hole
like a-
already, so you not too far away, you also dug like a garden.
And making like a fence type thing.
Okay, so yeah, and again you get some help from the troops and you get out like some fence posts, and so there's like a garden area with like a little fence around it to keep rabbits and God forbid somebody come home pregnant. Keep toddlers out of the garden,
Miscarriage.
ripping up all the turnips.
Yeah.
All right, Antar, you rolled an 8, and any other rolls? I didn't get all yours.
Oh, yeah, okay, so my second roll would be 19 plus 5 for strength, so 24.
24. And yeah, your first day, you kind of do like your rough scraping to get like the basic shape.
Yeah,
And
so
you're
I'm an
getting
earth elemental, but I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing.
yeah, you're getting used to your earth elemental form and stuff. And then the second day, you literally hit your stride because you have a move called Earth Stride.
I do.
Yeah. So you literally hit your stride and like start softening up the gravel, and like you're getting everything in like all the rough packed dirt because there's a road that comes into Tommendale, and so you really get all that stuff like unpacked, and you really start getting the shape of the moat made. And with some tips from Giron, who knows everything, he gives you like the ideal angle and pitch for the sides of a moat to make it absolutely fucking impossible to climb out of is, and just,
Awesome.
yeah, he gives you all the knowledge that you need, and you understand them because elementals can communicate.
He has a helm if I can talk to anything.
Yeah.
I can hear anything.
Yeah, elementals.
I have a belt if
so
I can
again,
talk
you
to
have
dwarves.
your mind. You have your mind in beast form,
No, that's
And-
true. So I can
and
speak.
so you speak elemental as an elemental, and he speaks elemental because he's a nerd. And he also speaks Klingon.
Yeah.
All right.
No surprise.
And your third roll.
Okay, so this will be to work on the wall in front of the gate and around the...
Yeah, just utilizing your strength to, now all the...
Oh, a 1 and a 19. Yeah, so 24 again.
Okay, 24. And yeah, once again, you use your elemental strength to get all the posts and whatnot dug to perfect dimensions for driving the post to fix the fins and wall and whatnot. And you reinforce everything that's sunk into the ground all the way around, so all the fence posts are perfectly straight up and down. And like all the repairs are stupid easy because you essentially make the earth soft around the post and then freaking solidify it in such a way that the wall will stand. The great big beautiful wall with a great big beautiful door is going to stand forever.
Shape of concrete.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Like you
Yeah.
soften the red earth clay around it, and then like bring all the clay together to make it like, yeah.
Brick.
Brick.
Yeah.
All right.
Compressed earth block.
Anything else you guys want to do over the course of like 3 days? So that's 3 days. Anything you guys want to do? You want to take like a 5-day on it? Any other projects you're into? Like you could do some foraging for like staffing, or not staffing, but stacking up like resources and medical supplies. Like you can do herbalism, which you take herbalism kits to make medical kits to make potions. Which, depending on how many hours and whatnot you put in, you can make certain types of.
Kind of broke at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me a quarter amount of the normal time to make magic armor if anyone needs things, but
Yeah.
but we're kind of sparse on material components for high-level magic stuff like that. It's kind of expensive.
Well, like he takes herbalism kits to make medical kits to make. It's like so
Yeah.
however much foraging gets him herbalism, however much alchemy hours gets him medical kits, and then however many hours makes it's like a
That's
two,
true.
It's like a 2d4 plus 2. Yeah, it's a 2d4 plus 2 healing potion, which is usually 50
Yeah.
gold, which he does for like 20 gold or 25 gold.
But if it took,
No,
say...
it's a greater, so it would be
Then it's
75 gold, 150 gold.
well, okay. So the 2d4 plus 2 is different than the like 44 plus 4, which is different from the however many d4 plus 6 or plus 8. Like one of them is like either way it's like 1,500 gold for like less than 50 hit points. And that's like if you roll max, it's still less than 50. It's pretty retarded expensive.
And it takes an action to drink, so
Yeah.
it's...
Yeah, like take that same action and get
But at
over
the
there
same
and cast
time,
Cure Wounds.
he has a feat that lets him use herbalism kits to actually heal.
Yeah,
So it's like...
yeah. As an action, use the herbalism kit to get like.
medical
That's a
kits
D6,
or whatever.
so
Yeah.
D6
Health
plus
potions
whatever.
are trash garbage.
D6
I think
plus
is
4.
My point.
You're right.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is you can do foraging to make.
Well, and if
whatever
you're
those
dying,
are.
you get an extra 1, so it's 1d6 plus 5 if you're on the ground.
Yeah. Or deal more damage.
So
Don't die to begin with. That's...
That's what you guys need.
Second and
I'm not sure what kind of wizard it is, but there are wizards who do buffs that
Yeah.
are friggin' retarded, so you just don't take damage.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not even healing, you just don't
we
take
don't have
damage.
any of those.
No. No, I'm a utility mage. No, that's like, that's a support mage. I'm utility. I'm a
Should
tool.
we leave,
I'm not...
should we leave Tommendale?
Alright,
I
so
was thinking it.
Yeah, because we could craft for days, but really, like, it's only going to be mundane stuff, and we've already set everyone on...
Everybody else is
Okay.
recovering. This is good. We can leave them here.
alright,
So
so
back if we need to.
Yep.
Tommendale.
Tar roll a wisdom check, you roll a intelligence check.
Nat 20.
Very nice.
11.
Okay. Is that how about history?
Oh, then that's 15.
So
Yeah.
before you guys leave out the western gate, since you guys are kind of in the middle of the woods, and Giron's gates are actually stronger than your walls because Giron. And hopefully in most cases that is the case, because that's like the place where people are going to breach you usually is at your gates, so
Yeah.
overcompensate. Long story short,
Also, the literal expert craftsman making something compared to a deer.
Hey, I was an Earth Elemental.
Yeah.
and like your guys' wall is pretty sturdy. It's got crossbars behind like actual trees driven directly into the ground.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Anyway, Giron, Tar brings it to your attention that you guys are heading west, and Tar's like, isn't there like a war to the west?
There certainly is a war. However, it is entirely uncertain how far this cup of yours will lead us to the west. For all we know, it could just be some trickster mage trying to steal your boots.
Do you have nice boots?
Not those kind of boots.
Do you think the light has changed at all? Are we still going in the right direction?
I hold it up. Do I make a check?
No, it's like if you're facing west, whichever eyes of the cup are facing west are also like, if they're in shadow, are slightly brighter.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like go like that with the cup and show Tar. Yep.
We can keep traveling for some time.
So yeah, you guys. I'm gonna have you, Roslyn, make a history check.
History?
Yes.
17.
17. Alright, so you might have amnesia, but you know a thing or two about being dragonborn, just based on the way people have treated you, and you do have some memories from before your amnesia started and, of course, after the fact. And you know that there is, to the west, a dragonborn settlement. It's on the other side of the Teeth Mountains, or Teth Mountains. And it's kind of an oasis in the desert. There is like a natural spring, and from the spring there is kind of a marsh, and the trees that grow around it, although sparse because it's a smaller settlement. It's not your home settlement. You're new to this continent. That's what you get for 17.
Okay. And with me knowing that, I could relay that information, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like so, you say, hey, it's Dragon Cup. This is what I know. Maybe we're going there.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave the option of maybe asking them if they would know more about this cup other than Garo. And that's
Tar
why we
knows
should go
nothing
that way.
about a Dragon
No,
Cup.
and that's why we should go that way.
Yeah.
I
Giron
am
wanted-
following you. I do not know anything else about the cup, which is why I think that I should turn it into a sick pommel.
Nope. You're gonna hold your horses on that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe a crest for a helmet.
We're not doing that
So,
either.
you guys taking? So he's writing. No. Can you make a new construct?
Yeah, we
It never
should.
died.
Okay.
Oh,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're writing Fink.
And yes, I can. And it just takes like a day.
Just a day. That's nice.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable.
I'm
Okay.
pretty good with my tools.
You guys mounted.
It's-
Yeah.
If I could make a recommendation, we could go to the Marlborough Grove, check in on the small settlement there, and
Oh, yeah,
see
all the
if
humans
we
are
are
there.
eastward enough,
Aren't we going west?
Why don't you
westward enough.
use that scrying orb of yours and check in on them?
I should check on the grove first.
Okay.
So I will cast Scry on
Okay.
one of the... Can I
You-
scry on a location?
I
or
look at the scry spell.
yeah, okay.
I will look at the scry spell. Do I have that app
better
on my
have
new phone?
But also, I think that we saw some of the
particular creature
folks.
on the same plane of existence. So I'm going to pick...
Is it specifically just creature though?
Yep.
That makes me sad.
so I'm
Because
going to
didn't
scry
we see the people who had settled there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
At least you
allowed
guys.
them to stay there. I have the deed to the Marlborough Grove from the, who had it? Your NPC had it.
The skeevy governor.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But,
Yeah.
I certainly do not need to. Rent free, I might add. Rent free.
No,
Yeah.
they're making it a home. It's not free.
Maybe I need to charge some taxes when we get there.
Maybe.
Like, I think that I
We're gonna
remember
go there yet.
some sort of priest or cleric that lived in the town that sounded like he had a mouthful of marbles. But we're
Right.
from the north.
Sounds
Okay,
about right.
cool. Right.
What do I see?
Well, since I'm gonna have him not make a resistance, I'm gonna have you make a perception check.
A perception check. I get a
Yes.
+9 to that. Which I'm gonna need. 21.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you see. Describe this person to me. I'm gonna do it based on your knowledge.
So I'm gonna do it on the cleric. So he's kind of stout, blonde-haired, starting bald in the front, big old
Okay.
burly-looking nose, blue
Okay.
eyes.
And what's his connection to the
So-
settlement there? He's just kind of overlooking
he's the
people.
cleric. He's like the healer.
And he was like, what
He's
was his
from Northampton.
like? And you said you gave him the deed.
No, I have
No.
the deed. I'm allowing them to stay.
Okay, you're allowing them to stay. And like, was there
He's
somebody
their
who was in
landlord.
charge?
I think that the assumption was that he would be their loose leader, but also it's close enough to Imperial cities where.
Yeah. Indeed, that was kind of part of the acquisition why Giron allowed everybody there to be diseased by the purple fungus.
The closest
or
city,
whatever.
I guess, would be Borflagat, but I don't think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
very much friendly to the Empire either.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
So,
Technically occupied.
these Southerners aren't very pleased.
No.
Cool. All right, so yeah, you check in on him, and it's still early daytime, and you see by the looks of him that all is well. He doesn't seem particularly worried.
Okay.
He's just kind of going about his day.
Yeah, we're not going.
Looks like because you're kind of only able to see him and what's going on around him, it looks like they built a pretty nice like medical barracks. There's like kind of comfy looking cots and beds, and they're clean and tidy and empty. And you're assuming that all is well based on the lack of activity in the medical barracks.
Is Arian still in the medical area?
Arian's at Tommendale.
Or, oh, that's what I'm seeing. Duh, that they were working on the medical areas.
No, you see like because you're only able to see like around him as he's like going about his duties. You see that like there's a nice medical facility and it's unoccupied.
Right.
Like it's clean and not a lot of people in there at all. And you saw like the area around the medical barracks, but it was still like around the focal point is the cleric.
He's just twirling away.
And he's like just doing his thing, just kind of going like he walks, like he was like walking from his house to the area, and it seems like all is well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No bad blood.
Like you see like other people that he's interacting with, but they're kind of like obscured because
Right.
he is the focus.
Well, yeah, it seems that all is well at Nabro. The cleric's working in the medical bay.
Perhaps we should shift there and then check the direction of the light on this glowing piece of stock metal.
So that's about as far west as I've ever been.
I look at Garen. You're not getting it, for one. You're not turning it into anything, for two. You can
Alright,
leave it
so
be.
you guys want Bamf there?
Didn't you identify it? Why don't you trust the artifact?
Because it's
She
3
has.
different kinds of magic,
Yeah.
all rolled
Yeah.
into one. It's like that Bin Laden weed, you know.
Like, to me, it's a cool battery. I don't know.
He's just not gonna get it.
But you don't know where it came from or what the...
He's
Yeah.
not really the
He's a
curious
robot.
type.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
You gotta be stern but fair with this guy.
Stern? Fair.
So are we going to Nabro Grove?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go there first.
I think we're ready.
21. We get there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poof.
Alright, so yeah, Giron is kind of like only familiar with the place as well as you were able to describe it to him, and last time you were there.
Kinda been watching them. Like I scribed there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Which again, you were watching somebody there at some point. Like your familiarity with the area is like through Peeping Tom.
Yeah.
So anyway.
For
yeah.
like hours, but
Yeah. He gets you to like the town square that wasn't there when it was like your home more so.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of bailed like when it was a bunch of you know,
shacks and trees.
Shacks in a lot like longhouse kind of sort of.
We knew how to stack stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like very, you know, we don't read.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like we don't have hieroglyphics or math.
Well, we know that a certain length of string is a certain length. We
Yeah.
can do a lot with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like, you know, the ability to you know, heat metal and make ores and whatnot with your druidic magics was able to make you guys trade so that you could get, you know, like
Real gold.
metal tools and whatnot, you know, keep you out of the Stone Age. Like, you know, you guys had
Just enough.
yeah,
We had just enough.
Yep.
The times were simpler.
so much simpler.
Able to trade just enough with the ox farmers.
Yeah.
Not all they did with those oxes.
Oxen.
Oxen. Anyway, you guys were there. And there's a little bit of a ruckus of, you know, like three, like, you know, you're kind of familiar. Like that one time you were there, like after you kind of abandoned it and they took it over.
The landlord.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of familiar with you though.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm kind of a hard face to forget.
they haven't really, you know, called you much about, you know, bad plumbing and whatnot. Kind of a hands-off landlord.
Yeah, I mean, when you're shitting in a ditch.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, Roslyn, another hard face to forget. And then they see the freak on top of the alligator.
Yeah.
The freak.
I'm just take in my surroundings for a moment.
Oh,
You see a bunch of humans and
Yeah.
a bunch of, you know, human-type wooden dwellings. And some roughly, like, beat-down, you know, dirt paths. No cobblestone yet. Not a lot of industry just yet. There is a new addition. There is a windmill.
Brave.
It's been a while, so they had time to.
If you got a permit for that.
He
No,
has to have you.
no
I
permit.
did issue paperwork leading to the industrialization of this area and the clearing of the indigenous population.
Yes. Of that I'm well aware. Fucking robot.
Yeah. So yeah, you make a check for the cup, and
More
it
like
is still
farm equipment, though. You know, somebody
west.
else pushed a button. You just
Still
did a
west.
thing.
still west.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you know,
I signed off.
is your forest coniferous or deciduous, leafy or pine cone?
Coniferous.
Okay. And so, yeah, you guys see as you're heading west, still out of the settlement, to the south of you, there is some clear cutting and like some fields of what looks like something that might be ground in a mill. You're not sure if it's, you know, grass or wheat or corn, you know, some sort of grain type thing.
Yeah.
And
Carb on a stick.
Yeah.
yeah. Starch on a stick. Yeah. So you see that, and there's pretty well beaten path.
Wow.
You're assuming that perhaps these people, although sparsely by the the tracks and how small the path is. They sparsely travel, possibly over the mountains.
As we continue down the path, I throw my arms out and stop Roslyn and Giron, and I say, I don't know. I don't know if I can continue. This is the farthest west from home I've ever been.
You have been to Gehenna. Do you even know what direction Gehenna is?
I know that I started a map, and I show you another map of where we were trolling around in the demon wastes.
And I poke my finger through your map. This is where Gehenna is.
You've been further.
You can make an intelligence check.
Might as well.
Can I bite him with my deer teeth?
Yeah.
Sucker.
Yeah, do it.
Damn it.
Make an attack. Roll
Bite
against
him
his
with my
finger.
deer teeth. I got a 3.
Yeah, you miss his finger.
You're on.
Maybe just bite down on my mithril finger and...
Yeah,
I'm
Siggy's
going
got the
to-
right idea.
We're going
Look
west.
at that.
You're going with me.
I'm going to spend a minute and cast mending on my map.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He poked a hole
There's
through it.
there's no ink anymore where you fixed the map.
I just use some combination of prestidigitation and my magical tinkering ability and fill in that gap on his map. And I just kind
Giron
of...
uses his autism,
Yeah.
and that section of your map is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just slightly better. I'm just like,
It's like almost photographic, as if it's like a satellite image, and then the rest is like your charcoal drawings.
I am a cartographer, though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty decent.
Yeah, his Asperger's is better.
Yeah.
God damn.
Like
I'm gonna
where
tap
where
him.
you're being artistic, I'm
I-
just being exact.
Thanks, Giron.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tap on Tor and be like, so are you gonna pussy out or are you gonna go
No, we should go.
west? Okay.
Did you guys take your horses with you?
I did.
No, we've been walking. We arrived in a
There's
building.
like a horse left at Tommendale.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I took one. Oh, because I said I mounted up. It's in the video, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked if you all were
You're on foot.
okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna beast form.
You're on hoof
No, I'm gonna beast form.
form of
Form of
horse.
something that Roslyn can ride on. Give me a minute.
Well, no, she
I'm on a
said
horse
she said she
already.
brought a horse.
She did bring the last horse in town.
I mean, I technically paid for these horses. I get to choose whether or not I get to ride
There's
it.
so much
that
money at
one
Tommendale.
was
They
That
they
one
could
was my armored
taken
ones.
from a dead person, but
I can turn into a seahorse.
No, I still had an armored horse.
yeah, that was taken
There's
from a
there's
dead
enough
Imperial soldier.
people at Tommendale and enough money at Tommendale
Yeah.
and enough stables at Tommendale that there's probably horses, if not foals. It's a likelihood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It
can
has
literally
only
beast
been
form into a war
like
horse.
at this point about 2 months since they cleared out the bandits at Tommendale.
Has it really only been that
Yeah.
long? Feels like it's been like weeks, cause like sometimes,
Yeah, it's like
sometimes,
8 weeks.
well no, I mean like sometimes I retcon like, yeah, you guys would have had like this many points of exhaustion from the last time you guys did this, so it's been a few days, y'all are better.
I'll
But
beast
to be
form into a
fair-
war horse.
But to be fair, people
Got
back
60
in the
movement.
time frame moved a lot faster than people in our time frame. They weren't as lazy.
Yeah,
So 2 months wasn't nothing.
yeah, and like, like would, is it Thorgrim? No, what's the dwarf?
Thane Ironwell.
Yeah, Ironweld. So yeah, the Th was from the Thane. So yeah,
Mhm.
Thane Ironweld, he might not be into horses, but like, would he or would he not, be like using whatever was at his availability to make himself more comfortable? Like, would he or would he not like have cleared a patch outside?
What I'm
and
saying
started
with that
growing
is it's been
tobacco?
like a little over a week since we were last here, and even since everyone like got there, it's been maybe 2.5, pushing 3 weeks, something like that. At this point,
Okay.
definitely about 3 weeks, and it's a couple days journey to the nearest town.
Sounds like fireworks.
It is.
Like,
Strange. Okay.
Uh,
I mean, but like, what, you know.
so
what-
like it's a reasonable thing to happen, but
It would be time. Like,
yeah.
there would be time.
there's good, time and resource consumption on whatever people are doing.
Yeah. Like, it would take a couple of weeks to get a couple of horses there, because,
Yeah.
like, somebody'd have to walk, order a horse, and then walk back or ride the horse back over the course of a number of days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would take Thane Ironweld a week or two to get tobacco seeds, you know, before he started growing his own private stash.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you went to the nearest place, it would still take, you know, months for it to grow. And then weeks, if not months and years for it to cure to the old Toby.
Yeah.
There, you said it, maybe I don't need it this one.
Old Toby.
So, yeah.
so I'm on a horse? I mean, I don't know this one.
Yeah. It's whatever you want to do for your transport, like,
Well, I've already said it like 4 times.
yeah,
Onwards.
yeah, I
don't
agree.
need beast forming into
Exactly,
something and wasting
exactly.
it.
Like
Okay,
you're on
then-
like a horse, perhaps the
Then-
horse, and so now we'll have to say they ordered horses. All right,
It's not
groovy.
It's okay.
Well, I'm saving other ones too. I'm not just...
All right, so y'all aren't going very fast because walking, but that's fine.
I mean, I got like 40 foot on
Yeah,
Fink.
on Fink, he's 30 feet on foot, and
How long can you
horse
sustain a beast form?
8 hours.
That's an entire day of travel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So I can literally turn into a war horse and just
Yeah.
trot along.
yeah.
And you could ride me.
He has
It's
Fink.
got pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
So
even
you
know
guys
where I
you guys
am.
are technically limited because ink horses are at like 60 feet.
War horse is 60 feet.
Oh, they have 60 foot speed.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but I mean, you know, still you're at a jog like a normal ass person jogging,
Yeah.
if not flat out running. It's fast. Like 40 feet.
Or,
So we're burning down the trail.
I look at the cup while we're going down the trail.
I guess we're heading...
Hover my hand over it.
Of course, I think in 6 seconds, if you use your move and your action, you actually get double your movement, which is 80 feet per round, which is pretty
Yeah.
fucking fast.
compared to 120, but.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets weird.
So it's pretty
because
much
I
like
don't know
4
about
miles an
anything.
hour compared to
Well, I
6
have to
miles
do
an hour.
Yeah.
However,
You're welcome.
oh man.
Unaffected by rough terrain.
I can sustain Long Strider all day using my spell slots of first and second level, which will bring me up to 50 if
Okay.
it's relevant.
Yeah, it's not so much. Like
Yeah.
the idea is speaking of which I gotta do my okay. And yeah, you guys make a pretty brisk brisk travel, and oddly enough, the only wildlife you see as you start breaking into the foothills and stuff are the usual stuff you'd see: bees, fox here or there, rabbit, squirrels. Starting to be more ground squirrels than tree squirrels as the trees have begun to thin as you've emerged from the woods on the pretty well beaten path. And as you start heading up westward, you start seeing like bighorn sheep and you know, more mountainous type things. The grass begins to become more sturdy. You see things like sage of the, you know, more higher elevation variety. Like you have the more lush stuff, and you get like the really tough things. And there's, but there's still a path. It's not so well cut, not so well beaten, but it's heading more or less due west.
I see.
I'm just looking at the cup the whole time that we're going up.
It's pretty much like a flashlight heading to the west. But yeah, thus far you've been unassailed, unassaulted, and unnoticed apparently. But as you head higher into the foothills, you see that the path becomes more steep but also diverges. You assume that one's like easy mode and the other is hard mode, and climb this possibly mountain like animal path, like not so very well beaten but definitely there, heading due west.
Like hard mode, I have spider climb and he's a mountain goat now, so
Yeah.
Giant
So
mountain goat.
yeah.
And I've got really good strength, so.
yeah. So I guess we'll have Roslyn make like a climbing check.
So are we leaving the horse behind?
Yes. We can get more, it's fine. I had money. Tar doesn't have to
You
look that way.
can just tie it up here and we can come back for it.
We can also teleport if we need to.
Or I can pack away the barding and we can let it go.
Yeah.
That's fine too. I didn't purchase it.
Neither did I, apparently.
I guess technically I may have.
Don't look at me then. It's your choice if you would.
It's not my mount.
All right. So
I just said yeah, you guys
the
took it
horse
too
the
far.
horse will be fine either way. I'll even roll for it.
Thanks.
Yeah. The horse just barely doesn't die. It was a bad roll, sorry. But the horse just barely doesn't die. But the horse makes it away from the mountainside.
What is the climbing check?
Just strength.
Okay, so
Wanders back to Amish
Plus
land,
proficiency.
Makes friends with some
28.
Hume.
And
a
yes,
long
it
life.
actually wanders back to Tommendale on its own.
we're fine.
Okay.
28.
28. Yeah, you
Wandering
climbed
horse.
over. Like it doesn't even make you tired. Like maybe
If I
it's
was
your
lucky.
the lightweight
Yeah.
of your armor. Maybe it's just your inspiration towards following this glowing light into the desert.
And Fink just climbs me up over the thing.
Yeah, cast spider climb on Fink, and you like
Very
with your
nice.
magnet boots are like. So here's Fink, and you're like standing straight up and down, riding him with like your sweet metal reins, like reading a book at the same time. Yeah. And Tar, what, giant eagle?
Oh, yeah, I guess you don't really have to climb.
You don't even have to climb. I mean, you could do whatever you want.
I turned into a raven. And
Oh, raven.
fly
Okay.
alongside,
He-
Roslyn.
Okay. So you just like, you're kind of chilling on her shoulder while she's like, God of War, like just hand over hand.
Yeah.
You know, climbing this rock face.
I did roll a 28.
So I guess I'm a bird, but you're my mount.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good thing you're in Thrill and not.
I
Yeah.
rolled a 28.
Yeah, like I was looking, it's like, oh yeah, she's in her
With or
mithril, and
without
it's like
my
she
mithril.
can literally like do everything at regular, not at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's this God of War climbing with her 28 strength, and yeah, y'all have no problems, not even inhibited in your speed. So you make it, like you summit this mountain in almost no time, and you cast about looking at the view because this is the farthest from home you've ever been, and you overlook the pine forest, and there's like great cedars and ancient firs and all these other things that produce cones and groovy fudging sap. And in your raven form you see great beautiful birds like eagles and hawks and whatnot, and you wonder why you turned into something so stupid and mundane. I'm just kidding.
But he might. He might.
And you look over like your old home and see the progress Okay, so yeah,
Yes, watch
you
this fucking
you have
video.
how many miles away is that? That's pretty far. But yeah, you
The ocean would be like 40 miles.
linearly, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. No problem. You see the ocean, and you see like craggy stone
Or
islands.
Maybe more than that, like
It doesn't matter. You got a
70 something.
pretty huge view, and you're at the top. Like you went west, you skipped Amish land and went straight for the Fudging Mountains. Like you didn't go north and then west. You just went fudging west, like just moshing, because there are, animals that come down to the foothills and whatnot from the mountains, like mountain goats and. Man, there's like just shooting and phone ringing. Like, what? Why don't we just go to Chicago?
It's the day after the moon, guys.
See his grove, and then the grove of oaks and such that we live in,
I'm gonna
and
have
Yeah.
to after I
the
get
mill
through.
town, and all the way to the port town.
You can see quite a ways, because oddly enough, something geography-wise, some meta for those who are interested. Geography-wise, Giron's understanding of geography, and if Tar gets to see enough of the world, his understanding of geography and cartography would be that the farther from the center of the world you go, the higher the mountains are until you reach the firmament. Sometimes there are mountain ranges in between, but the farther to the north, south, east, or west you go, if you go until you reach the end, you reach the end. And there is a firmament. Alright.
So he's got a good view of all the lands that we've traveled for so long, right?
Yeah.
Or they have, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and you can see, now, after seeing all that you've already seen, you turn around. And you see before you a sprawling desert, and in the distance, probably like the rest of the day's walk, and maybe a little bit more, there is kind of an oasis, and a small permanent settlement. It's like adobe and palm wood, maybe.
I'm gonna get excited in character and just say we should go that way towards the desert.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the light is shining bright, and it's actually the pulsing that brought your original attention. It's not sped up, but the brightness of all the lights has intensified the farther west you go.
Nice. I'm gonna kind of hop up and flush my feathers at Rose, squawk at her, and kind of look in that direction.
30 ahead of you.
And so what you see, though, is in the sprawling desert, I guess vision is based on perception. So everybody make perception checks, and we'll see how far you can see.
20?
12.
My normal ones. 21.
21. Alright, so Tar sees best, but everybody sees that, yeah, way out into the desert. Giron with his intelligence would probably know approximately how many miles, but I don't right now. But you see yet another mountain range. But you guys have enough supplies with you and enough energy as adventurers to make your way past the oasis town. But from here and on your way past it, as you follow the blinking light into the desert, you see kind of a tent city that, with your excellent perception roll, you know is probably seasonal. You're not really familiar with desert culture. You know that the Empire's concern is that it is a group of usually warring tribes currently united essentially under a warlord / religious leader who has unified the faiths and the families of the warring tribes that have been warring since time immemorial.
So, like, maybe to the far north, we're seeing clusters of other things.
Yeah,
smoke or
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like so to the north and a little bit to the south. You know that like somewhere vaguely south of where you're at now, there is like just sprawling desert beach. Like there are palm trees and like other beach type stuff, but like there's no like grass or like stable grounds. Like at some point the desert just kind of dead ends into the ocean and the firmament, and then it becomes mountains, and there are mountain people and mountain creatures, but generally speaking it is just kind of wastelands, like in the due south and due southwest areas because of its proximity to the edge of the world.
yeah. And it is worth noting that in the lore, as has been stated, that the natives of this mountain range, few tribes of Goliaths, they had been driven all but extinct by the Empire in recent years.
Would we know that?
Yeah, because...
Giron's spouting that lore right now.
No. Well, you guys knew Ricard, who was literally part of that and told you about that.
Yeah. And,
which is probably why we didn't run into a whole lot in the mountains.
yeah. So the Teth or the Teeth are occupied by like there were like some mountain Goliaths and like a giant here or there, an Etten of some sort or another. There's also
like we had seen, or they had seen ogres in the foothills to the
Yeah.
north, and
Because of my history check earlier, would I know if this is the oasis that I came from?
So-
Not for settlement, but
like you're familiar with this oasis, and you know that the permanent settlement there at the oasis, for again time immemorial, has been like an ancient clan of like a family of dragonborns and a few of their like distant relatives and whatnot. It's essentially like a larger family group. Started out larger than it is now and has diminished due to immigration and encroachment of other settlements, and the oasis has shrunk as as they got bigger for a period. The oasis kind of got bigger, and then as they got smaller, the oasis got smaller. Like
Yeah.
maybe their lives are kind of tied in with the oasis.
I'm gonna suggest that maybe we stop there for a time and take a rest, like eat and all that stuff, get water.
like at the top of the mountain here.
All right, so you guys take a nice little take it all in and take a nice little rest. You guys spouted some lore and had some. Is there anything you'd like to accomplish on this 1 hour short rest? Nobody's really used any spells or so.
Did
I'm
you
used
use
a
beast
couple,
form?
and I'll.
Can you use beast form?
Yeah, beast form. Yeah, that's a long rest, but he gets 2 of them, so.
Okay.
And so he doesn't even have to change shape. He can just stay a crow.
Chocolate.
Yep.
So.
All right, so. Yeah, with your good luck and your horse's good luck, everybody's making it safely. One back home, you guys over the mountain. Guys got to learn a little bit about the area around. Are you gonna stop at the Oasis or Tent City type seasonal market bazaar?
I would assume if it's generally in the path that we should stop there.
It is generally, like if you head due west, you're going to go past it, but if you head, any vague direction north, you're going to possibly run into a tent.
So,
like if you
is
were
the
to
goblet from here still pointing
due west.
Okay.
We should go.
Let's
and-
skip the town.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I don't want to like ruin it for you, but essentially it is going to take you to the middle of nowhere, and it's going to like all the lights are going to and Kieran's gonna suggest digging, probably because he's smart like that.
Okay.
Maybe a cool. Can we find a cool cave entrance?
No, that's what we're finding
We're gonna
here.
find out.
So
the shovels. I've got
yeah,
a shovel.
you guys,
Roslyn has a shovel.
I-
we're gonna fast forward. Roll like endurance checks, so Constitution, because it's not hard to dig. It just is daunting.
That's a nat 20.
Very nice.
Wait, we want
So
to dig.
you all dig, but Tar digs best.
10.
22.
I mean,
Wow.
not
You're a
entirely
robot.
sold on
Yeah.
digging.
Literally
You're-
using my shield,
I
just
got a
like
22.
22.
I am becoming a backhoe.
I spend
And,
half the time crafting a shovel,
yeah.
and then I.
Yeah,
dig
you
with
can't
the-
dig better than I can
Like,
right now.
Alright,
So
I'm gonna dig a
so
post hole for
Fink
the first
Fink
time
uses
with your
all
baby
four
hands.
all four legs to dig and just like kind of spins in a circle, and you all just kind of like empty out all the sand that Fink's kind of kicking around, and Roslyn like kicks it into high gear and uses action surges and all that stuff to
Yeah.
like really throw dirt
I'm
as
excited
well.
about my gauntlet, or my chalice, guys.
And you get to solid stone, and then you start digging around an area, and you like clear off what could only be like the top of a structure, a thing, a something, and there is a wooden like hatch door type
Oh.
thing.
I was about ready to pull out a small adamantine chisel. It's good that there is this hatch.
We should get in there, shouldn't we?
And there is an elaborate lock.
I'm gonna use my chime.
Would anybody like to? Yeah, if you want to go straight for the chime, but you might want to.
Or I
take a
can
look
use
at
my double proficiency with thieves' tools. And
it. You can take a look at it.
I can help
You
you
can
with
always
that. I
actually
have
just look at it.
proficiency.
yeah,
Also, like perhaps investigate.
investigation. That's 12.
It doesn't appear to be trapped with your 12.
So check it out though. Detect magic. Cast
It is magical.
it. Okay. Is there anything else magical other than those two people within 30 feet of me?
The lock is
Just the
magical.
rock.
Just
It's
the
the
lock.
only thing that seems magical.
I mean, besides them.
This sand is.
I cast
Very
Dispel Magic on the lock.
What level is that?
Third, and if the spell affecting it is higher than...
You roll for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer magic,
Okay.
but it's still locked.
I roll to unlock it. That is an 8 plus 8 plus 5 is 21.
21. Getting close, you start to bend your shizbam.
It's just
It ain't
makes a
broken.
noise and automatically unlocks.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, and I can fix it, but
I'm gonna
yeah.
Yeah, you hit the chime and it comes undone. And yeah, the door is easy.
It isn't like whoosh open or anything?
It opens.
Okay.
It opens.
Yeah.
It smells old, like it hasn't been opened in a long time. Like you dug a lot of sand off.
My dark vision, like what am I seeing down?
There's
under
like
the
cobwebs, like a really dried, like
Probably a
handmade, like
night
wooden
vision.
type ladder. It's like lashed together with like reeds, perhaps.
Okay.
It's like palm wood, probably.
I can produce flame. That's good enough.
I'm
And
just
you
gonna
see-
go ahead and light up a torch and toss it down the hatch.
Nice.
You carefully don't set the ladder on fire, and like the torch like bangs against the wall a couple of times and knocks down some cobwebs, and you look down into the bottom of it, and it seems like pretty sturdy, solid. Like maybe it's dirt, maybe it's stone, but it goes about 20 feet down.
I'm gonna take the first roll and just go down.
Okay.
You climb down a ladder.
Yeah.
Ladder doesn't break under her weight, none of that.
No.
None of
I'm
that
not
silly
that
shit.
bad.
No.
Do you have rope?
It's an old ladder. It creaks. It's scary. Like the
Okay.
lashings are made of reeds, but
Show no fear.
If she can make it down in mithril full plate, then I head down
When
after
mithril
her.
is light.
and like, do you like dangle Fink down by his tail and just drop him, or?
I can hold my hand out.
I'll cast Feather Fall on him and kick him down the hole.
Okay.
That's brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, feather fall's fine. Like, yeah, he goes
Yeah,
down.
I don't even have to climb. I stand on Fink, cast Featherfall on him, and
Yeah,
he
they-
walks down and
Yeah.
Are you still a bird?
is my elevator.
Are you still a bird?
No, because I was digging a hole. So
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to climb down the ladder.
Yeah. So Tara climbs down the ladder, and all is well. And you see where you're at. You kind of whoosh around with the torch. You're in like kind of a. It's kind of a plain room, but in the middle of the room is like kind of a table, but it's not a table because it's like built out of the same stone. Like you now see that it's stone. Like there's just a lot of like dust and crap that is not floor filling in the almost seamless stones that make up the floor. And you see like out of the floor a 3 to 3.5 foot wide, about 4 feet tall, and about 8 feet long table. Or is it a table because it doesn't have legs? It's just solid, as far as you know, slab coming out of the ground. And a couple of other details to it that if somebody doesn't make a perception check, I can't give them up. I can't just give it all to you.
17.
11. Like, is there anything on that table?
Yeah, I have 17 on it.
So yeah, like you get a little bit closer and you see that there's like some holes, like one at the top and one at the bottom, and 2 kind of in the middle on either side. And then you see around the room like places where maybe there were some sconces or some like torch bracketry, but they're not there anymore. And
How many would you say?
like one per wall, like 4.
I'm gonna put 4 in the wall. I've got 4 torches. 10
okay.
torches.
Yeah, so and the room's very well lit now, and you see now with all the full light and everything, there's possibly some spots where maybe when the desert hadn't reclaimed this location, there would be like areas also to put like mirrors and reflect light, and there at angles are areas in the ceiling where maybe light could have come in. Not quite windows, but like sun ports or something of the like. I should probably do like a temple or something like that.
There's some new ones.
Whatever works. But
We're getting
so there's nothing on the table. It's just holes in the table.
yeah, like then the room seems
Yeah.
pretty clean picked. Like there's not even torches in the torch sconces or.
Are there any
Yeah.
other egresses to this room?
So yeah, you see against the wall where you kind of climbed down the ladder, to the left and behind you is a stairwell that kind of goes like, if you didn't look straight at it, if you were standing like parallel to the wall, you wouldn't have seen that it was there. Like this seems to be like just a upper room, single entrance exit,
Okay.
all on the same wall. So you can go up, and like you only kind of cleared off like the plateau in the area there, so you're not really sure what goes down past. You know, like, is it a ziggurat? Is it a pyramid without a tip? Not really sure about that. But there are stairs heading down for sure,
Oh, okay.
farther in, and the ladder that headed out to the top.
Okay.
We literally should go through this here.
Did you come down here? Okay.
Yeah, y'all climbed down. Everybody dug, everybody climbed
Yeah.
or fell down.
Okay.
Ot.
I'm gonna say we should go through.
Yeah. I suppose going farther down may be a good idea.
And you head down, and the stairs do like a letter C, but like in, you know, strict geometry. So you head down at an angle and sideways, and then down at an angle again.
Okay.
And you're now in the room directly beneath where you were at before, and pretty much everybody's got a torch because y'all could have just taken them out of the wall.
I just left mine.
Oh, you just left yours there?
I have a night vision.
Okay.
Dark vision as well.
Yeah, so everybody can see for like 60 feet. This room is a little bit bigger. The stairs actually came down kind of like out of the ceiling, and there's more space behind you. You can feel it as you like head into this more open space, that there's space behind you. And you can see in front of you that there's more space before you than in the last room. And you see on like a high pillar, which with your night vision, and Tar probably with a torch.
I can produce flame in my hand. as a
Okay.
cantrip.
Yeah, and you can also cast dark vision on yourself, whatever you want. But anyway, everybody kind of sees like there's a. It's kind of like a pillar, and it's like a giant something on the top of it. Maybe it's a bowl, maybe it's like a brazier or something like that. But as you get closer, you see too that there are holes in the bottom of this bowl. And as you look up above you, you head down. The stairs were kind of long, kind of steep, maybe 30, 40 feet. But like, you know, go down about 15 and walk about 10 or 15 and go down about 15, somewhere there. But you see two holes, so maybe they're like ash outlets or something. But as you get closer, there's kind of like a orange stain around the edge of the bottom of it, maybe. And you see it's kind of candy-caned around, maybe like a orangish, irony kind of dust.
I think that's blood, guys.
Is it like following some sort of channel in the pillar, or is that just?
It's kind of channeled.
Okay.
Like as you got closer, there's more detail to it, and also there's like kind of a serpentine motif.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Detect Magic. I'm gonna try and center myself in the room somewhat, and then cast
So
Detect
the
Magic.
pillar is nearly centered, and at the pillar beneath you, beyond your friends, beneath you there seems to be magic. It's like good for 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're starting to feel a tingle, ever so faint.
Yeah.
Can I just feel around the floor underneath that thing to see if there's like anything?
And there are like holes and or channels leading into the floor.
We should see if there's another staircase.
I can only assume that there is, given that there is some sort of artifact below us.
Huh.
So your detect magic is just magical presence at the moment. You're a little too far away, but I want to lead you in the right direction.
So at this rate, I'm just gonna start feeling around the walls and see if I can find a stair.
So yeah, with your perception check, again, you know, this seems long abandoned, and there is like there's not a whole lot.
It is blocked by 1 foot of stone.
It is.
Yeah. So.
But there is more to this room. There are more stone pillars beyond the one in the center. They are less ornate. There is a little more art and detail to the pillars that are not, you know, like blood channels.
Is it some sort of pictograph or is it just designs?
There is kind of a theme. Perhaps it's a pictographic. So the center is kind of serpentine, and there are 4 other pillars. You're noticing like a theme of 5s. So you're noticing the 4 other pillars are like scaled, and the places where the pillars meet the ground seem like claws or feet of reptilian origin.
Can I just pull out the cup and see what it does?
It is like a torch. And something tells you that beneath this channel, like beneath this center pillar, there might be like a spot to like put that cup. Like something is kind of leading you in that direction.
Kind of getting where this is going here. Like sacrificial altar goes over the pillars and then continues downward, and there's
into the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the cup belongs in a certain little spot.
Yeah. But what happens next? Who knows?
So they're kind of pictographic, the designs.
Yeah. So like there's
like what is it just some animals? Does it depict like a series of events like a hieroglyph? Or?
So make an investigation check, and I'll give you the super dope lore drop or the vagaries depending on
and
depending
mind
on
you, helm of comprehend languages.
You're gonna be fine, just fine, and she can read your chronic if there's anything there.
It comes out to a 15 for the investigate.
15. So. What you see is like a number of reliefs, all painted, very ornate. There are like a series of land masses, like viewed from above. Little something like that. But like there's great detail done to it. Not necessarily of. Like the come on, like the topographical nature of it, but like you can't see like, oh, this is like more arid, this is more, but like there's elaborate detail of like the coastline, and you can see that it's like this is the shape of it, and you see that kind of world map, and then like the next relief is like even farther away, and you see like the 3 moons and the sun in relation to a specific time of year. You're not sure about it because you only rolled a 15, and you see like the one deteriorating moon, and like pretty well that it's one of 2 times of year, based on the location, and of course the semi-annual meteor showers that happen once kind of in the middle of summer and once kind of in the middle of winter, based on the movement of the realm. And then the next relief you see even farther away, and you see like kind of the dome of the firmament. And all the greater and lesser lights within, and then you see the outer realms, and then the final, somewhere around here I've got the map of the realms, and then the final of that.
Like the giant gyroscope of...
that's not it.
Yeah.
That one. So yeah, you kind of get the this.
Yeah.
Just the top part.
Yeah.
But it's a series of images leading to that, and it kind of helps you see like how special the material plane is, because of all the things that are set in place to protect it from the outer planes, like the astral sea and all these protections, and the divine gate that keeps the gods from having as much physical influence on these poor mortals that some of whom you've grown to love, or at least are contractually obligated to preserve.
Yeah. It seems as if the people who constructed this subterranean temple were far more advanced astronomers than anything that Tar's people would ever be capable of.
With your great knowledge, you
Whatever it was, they were here for a long time.
Like, my understanding is much more mathematical and much less artistic, but I get what's going on there.
yeah, it's
We're like, we know, Garon.
Yeah. And, just,
I'm just gonna continue to search around the pillars for like
insert
a button or something that
an observation
Okay.
that's actually an insult.
yeah.
I'll make a check too, or whatever you want.
Dat 5 charisma.
So
He doesn't know much about furbulbs, though.
knows what kills you.
Yeah. I know machines, and I know how to break them.
You know, the investigation.
I think I'm gonna have you roll investigation because
20.
20. And you go feeling around on the relief that Giron was kind of pouring over, and you just kind of like stand in the middle. So again, theme of 5. So you have like, you know, your area farther out, farther out, farther out, even farther out still, you know, showing the greater planescape. And you go to the center one, and you're like, so Giron, we're here, and you just push on like the material plane on like, you know, kind of this snow globe looking thing, and like right in the middle of it, your finger kind of sinks, and
the hidden luck stat.
I rolled a 20, man.
yeah, I mean there's no crit, as far as like, you know, checks like that go, but
Yeah.
I love to give it up for a 20.
It's a good feeling, you know?
It makes me like truly I'm always rooting for you guys. Like I want you to have a good time, but I'm always rooting for you guys. Like, you know.
You're also part of the area.
Yeah, but I mean I could give 2 shits about Arian when it's like, you know, you guys like crawling around through a dungeon doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Throwing monkey wrenches into like, oh yeah, you know, I give you like this glowing chalice. Let's go get murdered by, you know, the queen.
I'm so down.
That was so
No kidding.
my bad on that.
Let's bury it somewhere and forget about it.
Said the robot
Yeah.
who doesn't want the dragon knowing her history.
All right, so like you guys didn't even fully explore the room because of that awesome check there. So don't forget to explore the rest of the room. There might be,
Okay.
you know, maybe, who knows? I don't even know. I'm just so excited because you guys are gonna go to the bottom.
I wanted to go to the bottom. Like, I have a cup for a reason. I killed a dragon with you guys. I want
So
to
yeah,
know more.
and this relief starts to like slide back, and your heart sinks, and you're like, oh shit, I just like possibly destroyed like, and you're getting a feeling like this is where. Maybe not your ancestors, but the ancestors of the dragons that live in the oasis. Like this. Make a history check for me.
There's an 18.
18, and you
Wait,
have a plus
history?
nothing.
Yeah, plus nothing.
Okay. But like you feel like perhaps these dragons, and like you don't have a whole lot of history with them, but you feel like to be living around an oasis, like a hop, skip, and a jump away from like this desert temple that is clearly like way bigger than whatever portion you luckily dug up. Like, fortunately, like the resonation of this cup, and like you realize that the cup is literally resonating with the center, what must be lower than you are right now, bottom, or at least lower than you are right now, of this temple is like drawing you in, like it wants to go home.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Pulsating.
So I need you to make
Take that.
a constitution check for me also, since you're still holding on to the cup, right?
Yeah,
Okay, just so against your con.
20.
20. And you do feel like this cup drawing you in. As you head, so the relief slid in and then slid off to the left, and then you see another staircase, and it just heads down at that same angle.
I'm going.
And again, it's like these weird stairs, like they keep coming out of the middle of the wall, like, and they head into the middle of a room, and they head into, like, you know, they're always like kind of going farther out, but always heading back towards the center, like maybe Giron would know it as like an ant mine, or like an ant farm, where like everything comes off of this like central and like the biology of like bronchi and lungs is like the center chamber, and
I'm just gonna keep on trucking.
so you head down, and each staircase is also progressively like deeper and progressively longer. So like you're going, and like each chamber is that much larger the farther you go in. So like you're on a longer walk, and now you realize perhaps you're no longer in a solo room. It's like perhaps an inner room of a lower chamber, but you are in a room close to, but not exactly at the center, and because the geometry of it, you're not disoriented, but you know you need to head that way to get towards the center of, because that's where this cup belongs. That's where you need to go. You gotta head
left.
So you head towards, like you're in a room. It's about let's just find
You pointed that way, so that way would be left.
yeah.
Getting
Yep.
getting going.
Yeah, I figured this would be a good spot. Like this is where the actual crawl begins. This is where you're probably gonna encounter something.
The true dungeon begins.
A puzzle, a riddle. We will see.
So we have one direct path, and then there's like.
So you have a way out of the room. You
And
know
then we have
exactly
to go.
where you need to go because like you've been heading in a straight line away from, and then going downstairs, heading straight back towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, the stairs have been like letting you out like within view of that central pillar.
Okay.
But this time you find yourself in a room facing a wall where there should be the pillar, and there is space behind you, and there are doors behind you, of which I will give you 3. 3 doors, one straight ahead, one to the left, one to the right.